This is a quick tutorial on how to run a post-build report known as percent schedule by student. What you're going to do is in PowerScheduler, the first thing I would tell you to do, and I'm not going to do this part simply because I don't want to show student names on the video, but you would normally come to the students area and do a search to make sure you're getting the students who are at your building. Sometimes reports run weird if you don't have a selection of students that are all the students slated to come to your building. I have made a selection of students that are seventh graders at the school, it can be a smaller list, and I will pause the video at times to not show student names and get things cleared up. But first of all, this report you would use to see how much of your students have a full schedule. So if your students all have the right number of requests and they all load fully into this report will tell you if they're 100% schedule and like, did they get a full schedule with their main choices or with some alternates. So it's a pretty useful report. So the first thing we're going to do after we get our students selected is we're going to go ahead and come here to reports. And this is a report again. You would run this report after you have done a build and done a load and you want to see how your students loaded, if there's anybody who looks like they're having a problem. And you would run this report periodically to find students you still need to go and address. So we're going to come down here on the post-build report area, and we're looking for percent schedule by student. So I'm going to click on that. And then what you're going to see is students to include. The selected students are all students in the school. Again, you want a selection of students because sometimes this is going to actually pull students who are not coming to you next year. I'm going to click, basically when you have this set, you're going to hit submit and some data will populate. I'm going to hit pause for a second. And now that I ran the report, I've changed the screen so I'm not capturing the student names. So you can see that in this report, you can see what grade level the student's supposed to be in next year, how many requests they have. I'm not sure what that is. How many requests they have, how many classes they have scheduled, what percent schedule they are. Now, this is where it's important to know this. We have more than our full day. We have more periods than we actually use. We have the advisory period that some schools may schedule or not, and we have the caseload hour. So we can see right here, it says this student is 78% scheduled, but if we've set your build up right, the core periods are those hours where you actually have classes that meet and that are the classes we're trying to build here. And we can see that this student has 100% of their core period scheduled. They have 100% of their primary requests, 100% of all their requests, so they didn't have any alternates, it looks like. And we can see this student in this line, right, had 10 requests. They had 8 classes scheduled. They're 100% of their core is scheduled. They only got half of their primary requests, so we probably didn't have a full set of requests for them. And then classes got added for that student after to get them to 100% because they only have 60% of their requests done. But you can take this data, right? Once you run it, you can, if you're on a Mac, come all the way down to the bottom, click and drag up so that you highlight all of the data, right? And then once you get all the data selected, however you copy it, and then I'm going to pause again and I'm going to go paste this into Excel. And once you get the data pasted into Excel, you can see that there is a column student name. I've changed everybody's name to removed 1 through 216. But their name would be here, their next year grade level, their number of requests. And then what you can do here is if you highlight all this, you can sort by percent core period, smallest to largest, and we can see that this student, and this student do not have a full schedule in PowerScheduler. So this is a way you can find students who are underscheduled, who have holes in their schedule, who have no classes. It's a good report to run after you do a build, after you do a load, and if you want to see how any changes you're making are impacting students.